And again, I want to thank everyone for joining us for our second professional panel series on finance, banking, and insurance. And we have a great panel today. I want to thank all of our panelists for coming, and I will ask them some questions. Again, feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions, or to type into the chat as well, and I can ask them your questions. So panelists, Brittany, you can go first. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and like your position, things like that?
Yeah, well, good, I guess, afternoon now, everybody. My name is Brittany Jellison, and I am a campus recruiter for BKD CPAs and Advisors. We are a public accounting firm located on the North Shore in Pittsburgh. We are also across the country. We have 40 offices in 18 states. I will give you a little bit of background on me. I did my undergraduate degree at Cal U and then my master's at Slippery Rock, so I'm very familiar with the state system in Pennsylvania, near and dear to my heart. But I have been with BKD actually only a handful of months. So prior to BKD, I sat where Kevin sits in career and professional development. I was a career counselor. I was an employer relations specialist, and recognized that I was ready for a shift out of higher ed and into corporate world. So I wanted to still work with students like you all, but also kind of help them find, help y'all find a fit wherever that may be. And hopefully it's with BKD. So that is a little bit about me.
Thank you, Brittany. And Brooke, why don't you go next?
Sure. Brooke McGinnis. I work here actually in Indiana, Pennsylvania, for First Commonwealth Bank. I manage, I'm a senior vice president. I manage a group that handles all of our digital banking, our payments, including debit cards, and our ATM network. And so I've been doing this banking thing for a little over 25 years, 26 years. I am actually an IEP graduate, both undergrad and master's. So I live in Indiana, and actually know Logan that's on the call. We go to the same church, and had he worked with me on the finance committee there for a period of time. So.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Brooke. And Eileen, if you could round out our panel, please.
Sure. Eileen Bufner, of course. So
You got muted. Eileen, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I'm from Indiana, lived in the Indiana area all my life. Been in banking for over 50 years. So been in banking for quite some time. Many different ropes that we've climbed and done different things. But right now I'm assistant vice president here at the Indiana office. And First Summit Bank is actually housed out of their main offices in Johnstown. And we have about 17 branches in the area. And then we have a subsidiary, which makes us about 22 offices. So yeah, very interesting, love working with people. So it's great job.
Well, again, thank you all so much for being here. Again, we're going to, have a panel discussion about the banking and finance and accounting industries, and kind of where it's going, some things that have changed because of the pandemic and things like that as well. And again, if you would like to submit a question, you can either type it into the chat or unmute yourself and talk to our panelists directly. Let's just get started. Can you tell us a little bit, I know you guys already did kind of go over this a little bit about your company. What are like the core mission, vision, values, and goals for your company? And anyone can go.
I'm happy to jump in. So we have a couple of just foundational pieces to what we do as a public accounting firm. We work very closely with clients. So really we strive for excellence in the service that we provide to clients. And we also want to create rewarding career opportunities for our employees. But we also are, held just like all the other professionals on this call today to very high standards, to professional business and financial standards to the people we serve, because we are actively not only working with clients, but we're engaged in the community. We really do strive to have, when you think about kind of working with clients, our tagline is we want to provide unmatched client experience. So we want the work that we do to be meaningful to not only the people we work with, but the communities and the people they serve. And if you engage with BKD in any capacity, you will likely hear the word pride, and those are our core values. Each letter stands for something. So P stands for passion, R is respect, I is integrity, D is discipline, and E is excellence. So we really do look at those as just our pillars of work. When we are onboarding new employees, we want to see how you exemplify those kind of in your world. And, we hold true to those in the work that we serve and the people that we work with.
Thank you, Brittany. Brooke, would you like to go next?
Sure. I guess I really didn't say a whole lot about my company. I did say a little bit about what I do, but we're a $9 billion bank headquartered in Indiana, Pennsylvania. We have 119 offices across 20-some counties in western and central Pennsylvania. We also branch as far into Ohio as Cincinnati, so we're I think a smaller regional, as you would call us, in terms of financial institution size. Our mission is to improve the financial lives of our neighbors and their businesses. And we do that a number of different ways, obviously being active members of the community and participating where we can, giving back as much as we can in terms of, building financial confidence in our customers and being good corporate citizens. And, our core values are to be customer focused, to deal in all things with integrity, to be excellent, be the best that we possibly can be, and to be accountable to what we say we're going to do, and then also inclusion, in our with our diverse backgrounds and life experiences and points of view, talents and capabilities.
Thank you, Brooke. And Eileen?
First I'm a bank. We're 97 years old this year, so we've been out there for a while. Yeah, absolutely. Started out very small bank out in Salix, Pennsylvania, where people know where that is. But have grown quite a bit, of course. And our focus really is a lot like what the other two said, really community involvement, making sure you're going that extra step, excellence in whatever we do, whether it is internally or externally, just always gone that extra mile. And it means so much, I think, to people to know that whoever they're dealing with, whether it's in insurances, no matter who it is, that the people care about them. And I think that's what we try to do the most, just let them know we care.
Definitely. Thank you so much. So just thinking about some employees or potential employees, what do you think are some skills that a person would need to come into your industry? What are some things that they would need to work on and sharpen so that way they could be successful in your industry?
Yeah, great question, Kevin. So as a public accounting firm, we are looking for individuals who are hoping and intending to be certified public accountants. And that is what we seek. So definitely passing the CPA exam is a huge feat for our associates. But really, when you think about the field as a whole, so accounting as a whole, I will say just a high level from a campus recruiter's perspective, I want to see that you're coachable. So we give feedback quite a bit. I just had a call this morning with our interns in the office and was giving some feedback to them. And I really want to see that they'll take that feedback and implement it into their daily work. So we want to see that you have a desire to receive feedback and grow from that. Because we are, I'm in the business of supporting students and, our entry-level employees. So I want to make sure that we are doing that in every capacity. So coachability is one big thing. And then I think just the ability to manage your time well. I know these are very basic pieces of, life, but it is so important. We think about how the world of work has changed so dramatically in the last 12 months. So the ability to pivot and adapt and manage your time well will really help you succeed in that world. And I think finally, which I would imagine that my two colleagues here would also say, is just the ability to communicate well with people. We are in the service of working. We are public facing. We are working with clients on a daily basis. So the ability to communicate effectively and appropriately is vastly important in this world.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with many of those points raised. I think we've seen a lot of change in banking in the industry for a lot of years. I mean, I think we've 2020 accelerated everything digitally. I mean, so in terms of skill sets, anything that you can do to improve your online and mobile skills, I think will assist you well. As Brittany mentioned, just being able to communicate well with individuals, and this is not just in written communication, but face-to-face communication. I think it's easy for us in this technological world to, text, and obviously we're doing a lot of these Zoom calls and webcasts and things of that nature. But we really need to be able to speak well with folks, and I think all those will serve you well. We're at First Commonwealth specifically, I know we're looking for team players that are willing to learn. And I've told my kids that I have one IUP graduate and one who's getting ready to graduate from IUP. The reality is that what your undergraduate education is going to do for you is prepare you for the field, and really it just shows that you have the ability to learn. And so my encouragement is to be a lifelong learner and stay flexible, because depending upon your employer, they may require you relearn a set of skills that would best suit their business needs. So I'll stop there.
And Eileen?
Yeah, definitely covered a lot of the information that I would suggest. Also, great points. There's a lot for somebody to take in whenever they're starting out, but just being teachable, absolutely 100%. We look for that. They don't have to necessarily have the background in banking. They just need to be teachable and wanting and willing to learn whatever steps it is. So primarily, it's very basic. It really is wanting to do it and willing to do it. So
Thank you all so much. And that is something that we work on, especially through the Career and Professional Development Center, as well, are those transferable skills that we all talked about, including communication, and as they're working on the hard skills that they'll need in that career in their classes as well. I think we have a chat question for the panel. Are there consistent opportunities for professional development and progression throughout your companies? Would anyone like to take that one?
Yeah, I can kick it off. I mean, at First Commonwealth, we have a lot of folks that enter into banking on through our financial solutions network, our branch offices. We call them our financial solution specialists. When I started in banking, they were tellers, whatever you want to call them. I think the reality is that that's just the way a lot of people get in, unless you're going to enter into the accounting or something specific. But from there are a great many opportunities for education. We have a department that's specifically focused on employee development, and there's constantly classes that can be taken primarily online, but some in person as well, to gain additional skills. And then you always have the opportunity to post for different positions that are listed within our HR website, internal website, and then progress from there. And quite frankly, I think everybody that is in our executive management now started it at some place other than where they are. So nobody usually starts directly in an executive role. So I mean, there's obviously a lot of opportunity, and that's the way I broke into it as well.
Yeah, I'm happy to jump into. So when you look at, I'll speak for our firm. It is kind of consistent across, other public accounting firms as well. But there is definitely a level of progression that we encourage our employees to kind of walk through. So, I mean, you will start at an associate level, then you'll get promoted to senior associate, then senior associate 2, then manager, then senior manager. So there's a pretty clear leadership track for individuals who desire to grow their career. That is our goal for every individual. We want to be able to equip you and continue to promote you through the process. It takes time. There are leadership camps that you will go through, and then the entire company as a whole actually has set training days throughout the entire calendar year. So it's typically 8 to 12 that are blocked off on our calendars, day 1, January 1 for the rest of the year, where we know that those are going to be educational leadership days for us to grow in certain skill sets and areas. And then kind of alongside what Brooke said, we do have an on-demand, it's called BKD University. There are thousands and thousands of videos in there. If you are interested in learning and upskilling and just understanding something new about, the world of accounting, about our firm, gosh, you could get lost in that portal. So there are absolutely ways for you to grow in that area. And you're also paired with a coach and a buddy. So we have a mentoring system at BKD as well to kind of continue to help you make sure that you're on track for where you want to be.
Eileen, did you want to add anything?
We also do very similar, of course. Many people have risen through the ranks, so to speak, as they start out in, a position. That is our goal for our employees, to be able to be promoted, to be able to move on, to make sure that they're able to do whatever they want in this company and progress in that. We use the mentoring program in that way also to help people stay on track of what they want to do. We have 2 times a year that we do an annual kind of career path with all of our employees. Like, are we going the way you want to go? Or are we assuming you want something and that isn't what you want? Or is there something out there that you're searching for? So in the career paths, we sat down with all of our employees and talked to them as not just what I see you doing as a manager or your boss, but what do you want to do, and make sure that we're on the right path. So it's very consistent and it's very helpful for the employees. Gives them a chance to really voice what they're looking for instead of us assuming we know what they want. But yeah, so it's very beneficial to the company and to the individual. Absolutely.
Thank you all so much. So let's talk a little bit about how, and I know we covered a little bit of this earlier, but how has the pandemic changed how you do business, in every day or even in a large strategic way?
Just as the pandemic has caused us to the Zoom calls, the conference calls, all those, but working not just internally with everybody that you work with is a little bit different, but definitely the customers in the banking industry and most industries, we're one-on-one, person-to-person. The customer wants to talk to you. They want to be in your office. They want all those things. So it's made it different for them. It's maybe a little bit more concerning that you're trying to make sure that you're doing everything you can for customers whenever you're not able to be face-to-face with them like you could otherwise. But we've actually had some very good feedback from customers on, how we've strived to do things and make sure that they still are very comfortable and we're doing everything we can for them. Definitely is not something that I would have anticipated a few years ago that that's where we would be, but yeah, quite, it's, at first I think it was very concerning, but I think we've kind of gotten used to it and we're like, we just make the best of it, and customers are well aware no matter where they go, it's going to be a little bit different. But yeah, changes of times.
I'll add that, as I kind of alluded to it a little earlier, with the pandemic, we saw a lot of things shift digitally. Our offices, starting in, mid-March, went to open by appointment only. And so a lot of the ways that our customers and clients would interact with us changed. They shifted to, we've had online and mobile banking and digital banking for years, but it became abundantly important with the pandemic, because that's the way people were starting to be forced to do their banking. Mobile deposit for checks, ATMs for getting their cash, and making deposits, using their debit cards a lot more instead of wanting to handle cash, especially contactless payments at point of sale terminals and grocery stores and stores. So we've seen a definite shift away from physical channels to more digital channels, and I think that a lot of the way people's habits have changed over time. I don't see, even when things return to whatever normal is anymore, I don't see that shifting back entirely. So I think we'll get used to digital being extremely important in the digital being an extremely important part of the banking relationship.
Yeah, and I would agree. And I mean, it shifted the world of everybody's industries and work. For the world of accounting, I mean, you probably have heard so many times about PPE loans and just different types of relief packages. And, our accountants are working with these businesses who are, kind of in the thicket of what is happening. So for us, it's going to be a lot of compliance and review and better understanding, how did businesses respond? Where can we make sure that, we're meeting, helping them meet all of their, just compliance needs. But I think that was very technical and specific, but you've heard these words. So that's one piece. And I think secondly, for us in the world of accounting, it's actually changed the speed of the work that we do. So we have had to pivot just like everybody else, but with all of these new regulations and, and thinking about the political climate and how things have shifted there, we have had to pivot quickly and respond to those changes immediately. So, webinars are happening. I remember when I first started back in mid 2020, things were changing by the week, and I'd see webinars come through and it's like, wait, no, we have to update it because of this. So, we were trying to train our employees amid, changes in the world. So really just the speed and the amount that we've had to pivot and flex to just the changing climate of, the world of money and the world of audit and tax and finance. So I would say that the expectations now are more instantaneous. People are expecting things from us a lot faster than they had before because of how quickly things are changing. So being able to kind of temper that with, okay, what are we actually capable to do versus we still want to be able to serve our clients, I think has quite shifted the work that our accountants are, working through.
Thank you all so much. I know that, living through the pandemic, which as we all are, we can see the changes that are happening, and it's mirrored in what you all were saying about the changes in your industry to meet the needs of customers during this time, and just the innovation that has to happen. And we see it in our students all the time as well, as they change the ways and that they're even learning remotely and in a hybrid format as well. So, I think, like, as you all have said, it just permeates everything that we do. What do you all think are the most critical changes that your industry can make to face the future effectively?
I can jump in here. I think two things stick out for me, Kevin. When we think about the world of work, artificial intelligence, man, it is coming, and it is coming quick. So, when we think about what auditors do in our line of work, right now we're testing people's journal entries, but I have a feeling in the next couple of years, we're going to be testing the systems entries. So, the AI is vastly and ever changing the world of work we do. I don't think that, it's going to necessarily replace our people as accountants, because we still need those individuals with eyes on things. But I think it will vastly change, the world of accounting. And I think too, people aren't a stranger to understanding, there is a definite need for more diversity in the accounting field. So we want to make sure that we are able to bring on people that have come from diverse backgrounds and thought, and really bring their rich lived life experience. So that is something that we have been, 5 years ago, we implemented our SKY program, and it has shifted and changed. But, I've been proud to work for a company who's been ahead of the curve on that, and recognizing that there is definitely a deficit of diversity in our employees. And that is something that we are really striving to make, just to make monumental movements in as we move forward.
I would say top of mind in my world is, as I mentioned, everything going digital. But with that, what we've seen is an incredible increase in fraud. And so, I think as we develop strategies to mitigate that fraud and the risks that it creates, I think, we just need to be nimble, and we need to continue evolving as an industry. No longer can we be the stodgy old 9 to 5 mentality. Quite frankly, I've never worked 9 to 5 only in my career. So you can dispel that. And I certainly in Brittany's world, if you're going to be an auditor, you're going to work some really long hours. Having worked with a number of those folks myself. But I just think that things are changing, and they're changing rapidly. And so we're going to, there's a lot of different, a lot of things that we're exploring and trying to figure out how they fit. Bitcoin is an example, digital currency, blockchain, all those types of things are advances, I guess, in one respect, that we're working to deal with, but certainly fraud, and I would continue, doing whatever you need to do to prepare yourself, advance yourself. Myself, I'm not a CPA, but I am a CTP, a certified treasury professional. I'm a member of the Association of Financial Professionals. I have many of my colleagues that are PMPs, or they're project management professionals as part of the Project Management Institute. So, I have others that are risk professionals, payment professionals. There's certifications in a lot of different areas in banking and across the financial spectrum of work. So I would, if you have a particular interest, I'm sure there's a certification that you could probably get for
it. Just adding to what Brooke and Brittany had to say, absolutely. I guess in our minds, for Brooke and myself, we see the fraud end of it consistently growing, and because of the technology and digital, and it's great, but it also it's just amazing how some of the scammers get into these areas, and there's always something new out there. As I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and I would have never ever thought it would be such a problem, but it's really caused a lot of issues. And yeah, as financial institutions have to be on top of that all the time, like constantly changing on their end too. The risk for the banks, for the customers, all of that. So yeah, very trying at this time.
Thank you all very much. We have another question from a student, and he asks, is anyone familiar with any blockchain cryptocurrencies such as Chainlink and Ethereum? Do you use blockchain technology along with artificial intelligences?
I mean, I'll start off. I mean, I know of Ethereum. I've not heard of Chainlink specifically. As I mentioned, we're exploring where it all fits. We don't have a plan or a strategy yet built around cryptocurrency. We are looking at other use cases for blockchain, which kind of underpins some of that cryptocurrency, and we are looking at AI. We have developed some artificial intelligence when it comes to again mitigating fraud, because as everything moves to real time payments, we in the banking industry we use Zelle, but you may be familiar with Venmo or the Cash App for person-to-person payments, P2P payments. And so, because those payments are transacting in real time, we have to have fraud engines that fight that in real time. And of course, that's faster than what a human can do it. So we definitely have AI that's working in that realm.
Thank you, Brooke. Brittany or Eileen, would you have anything to add? It's amazing. We've done one of these professional panel series before, and it was on logistics. Nixus, thank you, Brooke. And it was amazing how much AI is permeating just everything that we're doing. And it just, I bet you in the next few professional panel series, we will see that continue as well. So thinking more personally, what has helped you get to where you are right now, and what advice would you give to others who want to set off in a similar direction?
I can jump off on this. So my background's really unique. And so I graduated my undergraduate degree with a meteorology degree from Cal U. So I wanted to be the weather girl for as long as I can remember. Had an internship and was like, hey, I don't know about this. So that is my plug for everybody on here to try to secure an internship, because it really allows you to see just opportunities and really helps you get a feel for, is this for me or not? So did that, ended up was working in a career services office as my work study for 4 years, and was like, man, I kind of like this. So I ended up pursuing my master's in higher ed counseling at Slippery Rock. So fell into that, worked in career services for 5 years in employer relations, and was like, this is cool. But the entire time that I was working, in all of these areas, I was constantly networking. I was constantly talking to people. I was constantly building relationships. Now, I think one that just lends itself to my personality. I know it's not easy for everybody. So it's something that I felt comfortable doing. And I stumbled on the world of recruitment when I was in employer relations. And I was like, man, I could still work with college students and work for a company and help them get placed. So it was just really the blend of, two worlds colliding. And at that point I was in North Carolina, and I had anticipated moving to Pittsburgh in 2020. So y'all, I moved in the middle of the pandemic, which was wild. But what was vastly important for me was to start building those relationships early. As soon as I knew that I was coming back to Pennsylvania, I just started reaching out to a bunch of people. Now, we all know what happened in 2020 with the job market. So it had been quite a trying few months. But the ability, to be able to connect with people virtually through LinkedIn, who else should I be talking to? What's next? Always ask those questions. I know, it's not easy for everybody to network and talk, but in this world that we are in now, it is crucial to be able to, get your name in front of somebody. I look at people's resumes all day, every day. And let me tell you, if I have a referral from somebody, or somebody that I work with says, hey, I think so-and-so might have applied, I'm definitely going to look at it. It's not going to mean that, I'm going to hire that person, but I like to hear referrals and recommendations, because that just amps up, the ability that I know that this could be a good candidate. So my encouragement to you would be, one, to just network and ask people what they do. Like, I just came at it as a genuine curiosity about, what does this field look like? Like, how did you get to where you were? Because if you would have told me 10 years ago that I would be a recruiter for an accounting firm, I would have told you, you're nuts. I will be out chasing a tornado. I mean, that was my goal in life. So it's really crazy how the world works, but I really do look at it, just the opportunity to build connections with people is so vastly important. And that is my biggest piece of advice. A colleague of mine it's stuck with me. He's like, you're either networking or you're not working. And it is true. It really is. So I'd encourage you to not be scared by the word networking, because it really is. I always say it's just building relationships with people. And let me tell you, people that are alum from your institution, people that, give back to IUP are going to be the first people that are going to be willing to chat with you about that.
Thank you, Brittany.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting because my background is similar to Brittany's in the sense that I've been working in banking for 26 plus years, but that's not, I don't have an accounting, finance, or business degree. I got my bachelor's after graduating high school. I went in the Marine Corps and served in Desert Shield and Desert Storm, and then got my bachelor's in elementary education at IUP, but served as a student trustee on the council of trustees at IUP, and got connected there to a lot of influential local business leaders. So the networking is certainly important. I went on and got my master's degree in student affairs and higher education at IUP. Worked with Tammy, who's on the call, and so I've seen my fair share of the buildings at IEP, although they're completely different than when I was there. But just to capitalize on what Brittany was saying, networking is important, but just taking every opportunity you can to be a leader in whatever. And so, those opportunities will serve you well, not only in your career but throughout life as well.
Just to add to that, absolutely, keeping your options open, which, that's what you have to do. Sometimes we want to put blinders on because we really think this is our focus and this is what we want. And then it really isn't something maybe that you want to stay in and you're unhappy. Keeping your options open and absolutely excelling in whatever it is you do. So you may not be the happiest in that current position, but you're still doing your absolute best and you shine at it. And believe me, people notice things, and getting referrals, like Brittany said, and just it's great opportunity, but keep those options open. Don't put on the blinders and say, this is my degree and that's where I have to be. And it's a good life to enjoy what you're doing. So you want to enjoy it. Absolutely.
Thank you all so much. I think Brittany, you said a lot about networking, and this is just my plug for the Career and Professional Development Center IUP Spring Career Fair, which is happening on the 24th of this month, which is next Wednesday, and it's virtual via Handshake. So if you have any questions about that, I will type my contact information into the chat. So that way you can email me with any questions that you have. And our IUP Night for Networking is March 31st, where you get to meet with alumni and with current students and graduate admissions and people from the CPDC and alumni and friends to talk a little bit about where you want to go and really doing that networking piece that Brittany, Brooke, and Eileen had talked about. Just as a wrap-up question, we're running out of time. Does anyone think that there's anything we need to address or you want to talk about before we wrap up?
My last piece of advice is just be known by the people that are around you. So whether that's your faculty, your career services staff, your student affairs staff, your people that you're working at in your part-time job that you don't think means anything, really make yourself known, be there, be present. What I have found right now, and ever more important, that when you are engaging with somebody, a group of people, just be present in that moment, because we have so many distractions now that can take you away. But I really appreciate that, when I'm working with people, that you're present in the moment. So just be engaged, be present, and just make yourself known.
And I would say just, be active as well. I mean, whatever, I know you're all probably very busy with classes and still probably trying to get used to this either totally online or hybrid or scenario that you're working through. But the reality is every opportunity you can have to be active, whether it be in a student association of some sort in your field or even outside of your field. I think all those, again, they're just additional opportunities to network. Even fraternities, even though they're and sororities, that they're somewhat out of vogue anymore. But I just think that you can make connections there that will serve you, for a long time, not to mention the friendships you form. So, and even the professional fraternities and sororities, those are all good things to be a part of, and just stay active and, like I said, be a leader.
Again, I wanted to thank all our panelists for joining us today for our second professional panel series on insurance, finance, and banking. I do have my contact information in the chat and also a Qualtrics survey that kind of helps me with understanding who was here as well. And this was being recorded and it will be up on our YouTube channel sometime later this week. And if you have a friend who couldn't make it today, you're more than welcome to go there and watch the recording of the session. Thank you all so much for taking the time to be with us today. If you have any questions for the panelists, you can always email me and I can get them to our panelists. And remember again about our Spring Career Fair, which is happening on Wednesday of next week. And check out the CPDC website for all of our great happenings and programs coming up throughout the semester. Thank you again to all of our panelists. And I hope that you have a fantastic week and we don't get any more snow.
Thank you.
Thank you.